All right, let me get this all set up here. Let's go ahead and swap back to this scene so you guys can see my lovely, wonderful face. Let's get that camera up and rolling. Now we want that camera. Boom, money shot. All right. Welcome everybody. We are about to start doing the Alpha X Junior Championship. Let me get some background tunes going here. I apologize for the slight delay. We are running on a 2-minute delay on the stream. Let me make sure that that is all set up here. Yes, sir. Stream is live now. Make sure that I mute that though, so that we don't have any crazy sounds coming in. Okay, so, yeah, as I mentioned, this is the Alpha X Junior Championship. This is the series for all players under the age of 15, or 15 and under rather. So players that aren't currently allowed to play in any ESL events. Of course, the ESL does have the restriction of all players must be 16 and over, because there's a lot of prize money and other weird things that they have to make sure they account for. So this is for those players that can't make it into any of those larger tournaments. We're happy to host them. So 15 and under, and I believe there's another restriction of they cannot have met 6K MMR, perhaps. Not 100% sure on that one. I will double check that later. But in any case, today is going to be Group B. So we've got Ghosty, Optimistic, Sly Crab, and Wannabe Beyond as our players in this group. Group A, of course, happened yesterday. And the players that were able to advance from that group were Erg Fire and Exo Striker. Erg Fire coming out 2-0, Exo Striker 2-1. So here we go. We are climbing into this first game. And it's going to be between Ghosty and Optimistic, a PVZ on Everdream. And let's get right into it. Now, Everdream is one of the maps that's been in the pool for 2 seasons now. Obviously, this is best of 3, not best of 5. This is in the season, came out last season and stuck around as one of the new maps for this season. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Let's go ahead and introduce our players here. Spawning in the top right-hand side of Everdream as your blue Zerg player, it is Ghosty. In the bottom left, sporting the color red, it is your Protoss player, Optimistic. So far, looks like we're going to get a little hatch first action out of Ghosty, and a low ground gateway from Optimistic. Very standard builds at this point. Optimistic choosing to go for that gateway scout, a little bit more economic, but doesn't let you block this hatchery. I know Zest and a lot of other folks go for that early pylon. And sometimes they even, I think Zest has been known to do a 13 pylon kind of thing, or send one of his first workers to guarantee block this hatchery, force the Zerg player to take either this location or this location as their first expansion. So we have the spawning pool coming down now for Ghosty. You should see the gas come up soon. Optimistic coming in here, checking on that gas count. Cybernetics core has started, and the Nexus is on the way as well. Sushi in chat is asking me to stand up and show off the sweet, sweet jersey. I will go ahead and do that after this game. All right, so this probe is still kind of running around in the bases here, and that gas still hasn't been taken. So Ghosty choosing to just drone up super hard, get both of his queens out, take this third base, and really just delay the Zergling's speed as long as possible. Really kind of going for I don't want to say a greedy opening, but it's definitely, he's not going to be able to punish anything, do any kind of run by, get any scouting information with those lings. This Adept could be a little bit annoying here. We are going to have a couple of queens out. I believe we've got one queen here as well as one in the main. So perhaps not going to be too bad, but the Adept will definitely be able to get a full scout off. But again, there's not really a whole lot to scout here, right? Just a lot of droning happening. Base is getting taken. The Adept going to come in here. Okay, as soon as the Adept leaves, we do see both gases taken at the natural. Still none of the gases in the main. Robobay coming down, and Glaives, Resonating Glaives coming out. Now this Overlord does scout that. It sees the little lights going up and down on this Twilight Council, so Ghosty is aware that there's an upgrade coming. Could be Charge, could be Blink, but in a PvZ, the most likely candidate is Glaives. Right. Blink Stalker's not terribly good against Zerglings. Charge Lot's okay, but you're not going to really get a huge advantage out of having Charge super early. And this does look like it's going to be a well, actually, there's a couple extra gateways. I was going to say Zest, Zest's 4-gate glaive timing here. So we'll see if he follows this up with a Dark Shrine or not. I'm surprised this Prism isn't picking up these Adepts, actually. It's just going to go ahead and walk across the map, or fly across the map. Now this Ling does see. Here come the Shades, the little ladies wandering out across the map. Queen's getting in position here at the third base, trying to make sure that they can defend it. And we do see a whole bunch of roaches in production. All of the droning has ceased. That Dark Shrine I was talking about is on the way, but we have Spore Crawlers in the third, in the natural, and in the main. So Ghosty in a good position to hold this, especially with all of these queens. Nice transfuse, keeping those roaches at full health. Now, there's a full wall here. I really like that, just dropping down the Evo Chambers to block out these Adepts. I think that's really smart, and he should be able to cancel off at least one. Yeah, cancels one of those off. Keeps two of them around for upgrades while he starts his layer here. Now, the first part of this pressure is still ongoing. It's probably about to stop soon. A bunch of Adepts getting warped in here in the main, but there's so many queens and roaches. I think we shouldn't see more than a handful of drones fall at this point. Of course, these Adepts can one-shot workers here. 2 Adepts, as long as they're synced, will one-shot a drone. And actually, this is getting a lot more damage done than I expected. The fact that he kept these Adepts alive and is able to be hitting, or is able to hit all of these locations at different times, very strong. Going for the Spore Crawler here, does have the Dark Templar warping in, and as soon as this Spore Crawler goes down, he should be able to just power this base down. The layer only just about to finish, so there's no mobile detection at this time. Okay, starting the Overseer now, but I think this hatchery is definitely going to die unless some queens get out here to transfuse. Nice Bile trying to save it, but the hatchery goes down and immediately picked up into the Prism, saving all 4 of those DTs. Optimistic off to a very, very good start so far this game, massacring 15 workers with all the Adept harass, as well as killing off that lair. Very strong. Now, ooh, that Warp Prism falling does hurt quite a bit, as well as all 3 DTs that were inside of it. Great job by Ghosty getting those queens in position to kind of snipe it as it tries to return here to the main. Now, at this point, we're going to have to see the counterattack from Ghosty, right? He's lost so many workers, currently down 14 workers in total. There's no creep highway here quite yet, so these queens are going to take so long to get over. I'd like to see, some Overlords trying to get over here, drop creep just a little bit to help the queens get moving. DT tries to sneak in. Ghosty has an Overseer as well as some roaches in position. And he's gearing up to make this big push, coming over to the third. Now, Optimistic cancels this Nexus. You know, totally aware. All right, I did a bunch of damage. The all-in counterattack is coming. We see no drones in production from the Zerg, so even though this hatchery is coming down, he's still fairly committed to this attack. How much larva do we have? Okay, we've got not a whole lot either, so it's not like he can have a huge swell as well. 3 Immortals here, gonna do an amazing job at holding this. These shield batteries are a little bit too close together for my liking. You know, a couple Biles right in the middle could take both of these down, and you really want to have one a little bit safer so that you can get that overcharge. The Cybernetics core is about to fall. Optimistic, realizing that, starts another Cybernetics core in the back. Now, Blink is about to finish. Blink is now done, actually. And with this Warp Prism that's finished, he's going to be able to juggle these Immortals pretty well. Queens have a lot of energy here. Some nice Blinks. Good pickup on one of those Immortals. The other one is going to fall to the Bile, so only 2 of those 3 Immortals are surviving for the moment. More Ravagers getting morphed in. Lings and Roach speed on the way. Now we have more gas. The gases in the main are getting taken. Got a few drones getting transferred here, but the pressure is not letting up, and there's so much energy on these Queens. I think Optimistic should be fine. He's probably going to lose this production structure, but I don't think this army can kill his army, especially now that he can get a nice concave. He's got the Archons out here. As long as he doesn't get hit by too many Biles, he should be in a good position. Archons and Immortals going to town on those Ravagers while the Queens are fighting Stalkers up here. These Stalkers blinking forward, getting right on top of the Queens, focusing down these Queens, making sure that they cannot use their energy to heal. And with that, Optimistic has crushed through the army of Ghosty. Now, he lost a fair bit of his production. I believe if we look, he no longer has a Robo Bay, and he only has, well, I guess he's got all 5 of these gateways in his main, so rebuilding that, definitely a good call. And with this Warp Prism, I think we are going to see Optimistic come in here and close the game out. Zergling run by, trying to make something happen here, but a wall is up. And here comes the engagement here at the 3rd base. Nice blink forward on top of all of these units here, trapping a couple of Roaches, or excuse me, the Ravagers on the right-hand side. This hatchery is certainly going to go down, and I think there's not enough Zerg even to hold the natural. Right, all of these drones getting pulled off the line. They are going to try to run over to this other hatchery, but it's not quite done yet. Not going to be advantageous. Blink on top, very aggressive, getting on all of these Zerg units. GG is called, and Optimistic takes game number 1 in this best of 3. All right, friends. So Sushi did ask me to show off these sweet, sweet Alpha X jerseys. So we'll go ahead and do a little bit of showboating here. And you too can be the owner of one of these very nice jerseys. Here we go. Game number 2 is going to be on Submarine. I'm getting right into it. Yeah, you can head on over to, I believe, the Matcherino. Let me double check and see if the Matcherino, one of the contributing things is, yeah, you can hop in here. If you head to the Matcherino page, and let's see if, okay, Nightbot is talking about it. So if you check out the chat, there's a link to the Matcherino, one of the ways that you can contribute to this tournament. In addition to punching in some of the codes that are listed in the chat, you can also buy some of these amazing products, right? You can get some Alpha X jerseys, you can get some jackets. We've got some advanced GG Focus, keto-friendly formula kind of thing. So all sorts of fun ways to contribute and help make the prize pool for this tournament just a little bit bigger. Help support our players and make sure that they feel appreciated. All right, and we are going to climb on in to game number 2 here between Optimistic and Mini Ghosty. All right, ooh, a little bit of a cancel there. Interesting, we'll talk about that in a sec. Game number 1 going in favor of our blue Protoss player here. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side of Submarine, it is Optimistic. And in the top left-hand side, it is your Zerg player looking to tie the series up. It is Mini Ghosty. Now, it looks like Mini Ghosty kind of changed his mind here at the very beginning. He started a drone up, then immediately canceled it so that he could go for this 12 pool. I think Ghosty realized, okay, you know, we had a no early scout last time. It was a gateway scout from our opponent, so going for this early 12 pool, opponent's not going to really have any idea of what is coming until the lings are already on the way. Probe gets in here, immediately sees this 12 pool, sees the 3 eggs here, and realizes, okay, can't go for that Nexus first. I got to get a wall here. Drops the second gateway. Should be dropping the core as soon as this gateway finishes and starts chronoing out a zealot. All right, do we see it? Optimistic. Okay, there is the core, and there's the chronoed zealot. I like this backup pylon as well. This does mean that if the lings somehow sneak in here, they can't depower everything. And actually, Ghosty continuing to make lings off of this. He took the hatchery here, which I'm sure Optimistic did see. But he's not droning at all. He's just continuing to make more and more lings. Now, one ling does get in here, so they've got a little bit of a surround here on this zealot. Oh, no, and that zealot got pulled out of the wall. And this is actually starting to look very, very bad for Optimistic. Croning out the second zealot, and we should see an adept or some other zealot start here shortly. Probe's having to get pulled off the line to fight here. Now, he should be able to clean this up. Oh, and depowering that adept actually hurts quite a bit. We have another adept on the way here. These lings could... Okay, I was going to say they could get in here and start powering down and stop the mining even more from our Protoss player. Ooh... Good surface area here. This adept should finish, but this is going to force Optimistic to make another structure here. He's going to have to make a gateway behind. This adept is in a beautiful little choke here. Only 2 lings can hit her at a time. She is going to fall, though. And with that, I mean, this is just further delaying this Nexus. Behind this aggression, Mini Ghosty has returned to making drones. Started macroing up, getting that natural base. Trying to get it saturated. Now this thing is going to run in. It's going to get a full scout, but really there's not a whole lot to scout, right? I mean, we saw how many buildings constructed down here. We've seen 3 gateways as well as 4 pylons. So Mini Ghosty getting quite a bit of information and quite a bit done for the number of lings that he made. I think in total it was 12 lings, right? So 300 minerals, forcing out all of this, super delaying the Nexus, and excuse me, not even forcing all this, killing all of this, as well as forcing a delay on the Nexus. So Mini Ghosty getting himself into a strong position here off of that early 12th pool. Alright. Now, the adept is going to come across the map here. It's going to get a little scout off here. You know, see the gas taken here at the natural. Doesn't know the gas count in the main, which we know is 0. Does see the Roach Warren, and okay, now the shade is getting up into the main. It will scout. Alright, not too much gas. Adept's going to walk over here, find the 3rd hatchery. This Overlord spotting the Robo. Has not seen the Robo Bay, which goes down right now. Is going to perch right on top of this little, we'll call it a little rooftop garden, maybe. We got some of those here in San Francisco. Optimistic deciding that these unbuildable rocks need to be destroyed. That's interesting. On different maps, these little structures have different names. I think there's destructible debris, unbuildable rocks, unbuildable debris. All sorts of fun little things. It's always unique based on whatever the tile set is for that map. Now things are settling back into a little bit more, well, okay. As I say that, I realize that we've got a bunch of Ravagers and a bunch of Roaches on the way. Mini Ghosty looking to get aggressive here. The creep highway is slowly starting to make its way out across the map here, but not quite getting too much done. Now these 3 Adepts are going to try to be annoying here, but Mini Ghosty has a huge number of units ready to attack, and I'm not sure. Well, okay, never mind. I take it back. We have disruptors out. So I was gonna say I'm not sure if Mini Ghosty has the units back at home to defend this oncoming attack. 30 lings in production, currently 7 roaches, 6 ravagers, and all of those lings currently out here. It's gonna be quite a hold here as we see all of the red starting to stream across the map. Now, Optimistic does realize he needs to at least bring, well, okay, he leaves these here to I guess get a backstab. But there's not a whole lot here. 1 disruptor shot, not going to quite make a huge difference. Second disruptor going to try to fire, kills off 1 ling there, and now the lings are going to start flooding through. They are going to make it in, and they are on top of this. They can go straight for the middle line should they so choose. And this is not looking very good at all for our blue Protoss player here. We'll pull out a little bit here. Workers are having to fight lings while still running. Oh, disruptor shot. Gonna be nice. Pick off 2 of these disruptors. Another shot. Gonna whiff a little bit. But 30 workers have already fallen. And Mini Ghosty doing an amazing job of kind of keeping his opponent down early in that game. And then leveraging that into a nice, strong early to mid-ish game push. So very well done by our Zerg player, keeping himself alive in this series. And now we are moving on to our 3rd map in this series. This is going to be Death Aura. For those of you just now joining us, this is the Alpha X Junior Championship Season 7 Group B match. And let's get into this game. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side of Death Aura, hot off of his win last game, it is none other than our red Zerg player, Mini Ghosty. And in the top left-hand side, our Protoss player, can he take another victory in this match? It is your blue Protoss, Optimistic. I think I called out that he was Protoss a couple times there. My apologies. Just really want to hammer that in, Make sure that you're aware. Now this drone's taking a kind of interesting path here. I think we're going to see a little bit of a proxy hatch at this high-yield gas, friends. Perhaps another kind of Roach Ravager early aggression thing. We will have to see. Now the real question is, does Optimistic sniff this out, right? This probe is going to get here. It's not going to see this hatchery. It's not going to see the pool. We don't have a pool yet. So Optimistic gonna have to be aware that something is going on. Sees the pool just now going down. Okay, this drone heading over to take one of these high-yield gases. Now Optimistic realizing, okay, something's afoot. I know the pool isn't down yet, so I'm not in any immediate danger, so I'm going to go ahead and take my Nexus. But I am going to go scout and try to find... Now the real question is, will this probe find it? Oh dear, friends, it is on its way. Now, Optimistic doesn't have any units that he can use to deal with this, but he at least is aware of what's happening, right? And stealing this gas does slow down this build quite a bit. You know, obviously you want to, if you're going to go for a lot of gas, it'd be great to have both of those high yields. One high yield gas gives off about the same amount as 2 regular gas geysers, I do believe. I should double check the math on that actually before I just espouse falsehoods. But I believe that is the case. Well, we can actually see by how much gas is going up. So every time, click. Wait, we're looking at the wrong one. 52 to 60, so yeah, 8 per trip. So that's twice as much. And these Lings are going to power this down. Queen is going to start working on it as well. Roach Warren finishing up now, but we don't have a huge amount of gas, so we will have to see. And these Lings getting forced out as well. Not ideal. Though I do believe that Ghosty would have made these Lings anyway, if for nothing else than keeping an Adept away. So we see these units starting to build over here. A couple Ravagers in production. And I think the fact that we didn't have this gas is just going to force a slightly higher Ling count and a slightly lower Ravager count here. Right, Ravagers costing quite a bit of gas. I believe a Ravager costs the same amount as a Muta at the end of the day. Or thereabouts. Now, we've got 3 Stalkers here. Ling's trying to get on top of these. Now, speed isn't quite done yet. These Ravagers are walking up, getting a fair bit of damage done to these units. 1 Stalker does go down here. There's a shield battery. This pylon is going to fall. And is there enough energy? There is enough energy for a battery overcharge here if this survives. But actually, we're not even going to see time for that. All the units are going to die before Mini Ghosty taking game number 3 in the series here with that very aggressive proxy. Well done by our Zerg player. So it does mean that Mini Ghosty takes this first part of the group. Let me pull up the bracket here. I believe next up we should see Sly Crab versus Wannabe Bjorn. So this is going to be a PVT, and we'll have to make sure that we see the players in here. Do we have them? Let me close this. Okay, I see Sly Crab is in here. Is Wannabe Bjorn online yet? We will have to see. I believe the players still need to do their vetoes. So once they get the map vetoes done, we'll be able to go ahead and see where they end up. Which maps, that is, rather. I see Omega was talking about the graphics not being great on stream. It should be fine. I mean, we're at 1080p, and then my graphics settings in-game are set to Ultra. So I'm wondering if maybe my bitrate is just a little bit low. We'll do some debugging later. I don't want to try to restart the stream or mess with anything at this point. So I apologize if you are experiencing any issues with the graphics being a little lower than ideal, a little less than ideal. But that's where we are. All right, still waiting on one of our players here. Should see them shortly. And while we have this downtime, I definitely want to ask you all to go head on over to that Matcherino page and click on the Matcherino. Go in there, sign in. You can sign in using Battle.net, Facebook, whatever. And then just click on Contribute. Type in that little coupon code, and you will automatically add 50 cents for free to the prize pool. Our players appreciate it. We appreciate it, and it makes sure that all these players get they get rewarded for the effort that they are putting in. All right, let's check and see what else we have going on here. Boop 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 boop. You can also contribute to this via the Patreon. You can head on over to the Alpha X Junior Championships Patreon page, also listed on there, and you can support us through that, as well as the tournament things individually. We're still waiting on one of our players here. All right, well, in other news, I do want to also take a moment to thank all of our sponsors here. Of course, we have our standard sponsors for Alpha X, G Fuel, we've got Bravestar, other things like that. But especially for this tournament, some of our bigger sponsors, we've got like Exxon, Team Exxon, helping out with this. We've got Damien, as well as Global Clan. So Global Clan is a multi-esports organization that funds and sponsors like multiple tournaments across all genres of games. This is ranging from like $10 tournaments all the way to like $1,000 tournaments. They have an esports team in Warcraft 3, but they're looking to pick up players and teams from all sorts of different esports, as well as StarCraft 2. As a form, and you can like check it out if you head to our Twitter, the website. There's a place where you can find all sorts of information. So definitely go Google Global Clan and check them out. And we need to give them a huge shout out and thank them for helping keep this tournament on as well, contributing and making sure that we are supported in the way that we need. All right, we just got news that Wannabe Bjorn is on his way. All right. Well, in the meantime, what can we do? I have an idea. Yeah, let's do this. We're gonna kill some time. First of all, let me turn the lights on in my house. Hey Google, turn on all of the lights. Oh, hold on, it's freaking out. There we go. Okay. Now I want to grab. Where is that? There it is. All right. So while we are waiting, I'm going to keep you all wonderfully entertained. All right, cool. Sushi's saying that the graphics look fine for him, so that's great. I would have felt real bad if they were like complete dumpster, because I even went in and changed them. So if we were watching on the graphics that I play on, it would be truly trash graphics. So in any case, let me go ahead and do this. We're gonna do a video capture device. We're gonna add my camera. We're gonna make this a little bit bigger. Pull it here for just a hot second while we wait, and I'm going to entertain you all with some yo-yoing. Because what's not to like about casual yo-yoing? Let's push this stuff out of the way. This is while we wait for our players to show up. Now you get to see that I do actually have legs. Ooh, kind of missed that one. Beep, bop, boop. Oh, do we have someone? Someone may have just joined the party. Oh, is it? No, not quite. Not quite yet. We'll just keep on yo-yoing until we get the chance to start a game off. Oh, party. Haha, wanna be beyond, join the party. All right, we'll do one last thing here. Oh, okay, they're still doing vetoes. So we're gonna go ahead and continue just giving you some great yo-yo content here while we wait for the vetoes. By great yo-yo content, I mean terrible yo-yo content, because I'm actually not very good at this, but I'm trying to get better, trying to improve, as are we all. Looks like the first veto is going to be Golden Wall. Vetoed out by Sly Crab. Next veto is going to be Eternal. Let's go here. What do we got? Ooh. Let's try to recover this. Here we go. Okay. Still trying to figure out. I cannot read. I think that's Cyrillic. So I'm a little bit left. Okay, it looks like someone translated. It's going to be Death Aura. It's the next map. I should really learn another language, right? I am very much a standard. Oh, glad that Sushi is enjoying the interim yo-yoing while we wait for our games to start. We will be starting very soon, so it looks like Ice and Chrome is going to be our first map, and then it's going to be Everdream. And we're going to follow up with... What is the other map that hasn't been vetoed yet? Submarine? All right, we are in here, ready to rock and roll, friends. That is going to conclude our yo-yoing for today. I hope you enjoyed. But it is game time. All right. So Ice and Chrome, our first map here. And this is going to be Sly Crab versus Wannabe Byun. So let me check and see what we have going on here. So yes, PVT, as I mentioned earlier, and I think we're ready. All right, go, go, go. Both players have said that they are ready to rock and roll. And the game is afoot. The game is a meter. I was actually having this conversation with some friends recently. I did the Half Dome hike on Thursday, which I've done it once before. It's a 16-mile round trip with 5,000 feet of elevation gain. The last little bit, you are holding onto metal cables as you go up to the very top of Half Dome. And everybody that went was either a mechanical or electrical engineer from our group. There were 5 of us. And we're having some fun conversations about the metric system versus the imperial system. All right, but let's stop talking about that. Enough of that stuff. We're here for the StarCraft content. We've been delayed long enough. Let's get right into it. Spawning. In the top right-hand side of Ice and Chrome is your red Protoss player here. It is Sly Crab. And in the bottom left, your purple Terran, paying homage to one of his idols, perhaps. It is Wannabe Bjorn. There's another interesting thing. I don't know how many of you have looked at the new skins yet, but the new Command Center skin, that's like supposed to be the Brood Ward Command Center skin, when you look at it versus a planetary Command Center, they are nearly identical. There's like 2 silver little toothpicks hanging out of the planetary fortress, but other than that, they are the same, and I'm eager to see what Blizzard is going to do to rectify that, because I feel like that's not great when it's like, oh yeah, let me just walk into this freshly landed 3rd Command Center. Oh wait, it's a planetary. Not the most ideal of situations. So we see Sly Crab going for a little bit of a Command Center block. He does see the Command Center go down, which is nice. Also saw the gas, saw the barracks just building something and not making an add-on. So pretty standard opening from both of our players. Reaper gonna make its way across. The probe scout timing was pretty normal, so I think Wannabe Bjorn not too worried about some sort of crazy proxy. Doesn't bother sending the Reaper to any of those locations to scout for one. It's just gonna come straight over here, find this Nexus, and realize, okay, everything is pretty normal, except we have a pretty fast Stargate. Now, Wannabe Bjorn is going to see that and should click on it. Should be alerted to the presence of that Stargate. Typically, I think the most standard opening is to go for a Twilight Council. You know, get Blink first, and then from there you can go into some other stuff. Not to say that this is like super crazy off the wall, right? I mean, obviously getting an Oracle early, definitely pretty common. Flying across the map, you do have to be aware that you don't run into any mines. Yeah, here's that Oracle that I mentioned on the way. Interesting that the Chrono Boost went down on the Adept as opposed to the Oracle. I actually think I like... Okay, there comes the Oracle Chrono Boost. I actually really like this. So he's going to send 3 Oracles across the map. I imagine he's going to hit the Natural here with those 3 Adepts. Did I say Oracles earlier? He's going to hit it with these 3 Adepts at the same time as he hits the main with the Oracle. And what this is going to do, it's going to allow these Adepts, 3 Adepts, one-shot SCVs. And 2-shot all the other races workers, but SCVs got that extra 5 HP. So these Adepts are going to come in here. They're going to draw the attention of Wannabe Bjorn to the Natural. He's going to start trying to one-shot these workers here, while at the same time flying this Oracle into the main. So we're going to have to watch a little bit here. Okay, Adepts are in here. Already 2 workers. No, he's going to start going for the Marines. Okay, 4 workers down here. And at the main, he's going for some workers here as well. Now, good reaction from Wannabe Bjorn, but he's still lost 9 workers. Is it going to be 10? Not quite 10. It's quite a bit of damage there for a total of 2 Adepts. Okay, all 3 Adepts were cleaned up. But the Oracle still alive. Didn't take any hull damage. Can fly in here, get a couple more. Ooh, has to be careful. That's a lot of Marines here from Wannabe Bjorn. Wannabe Bjorn has the Tech Labs researching Combat Shield and Stim. No factories in sight and no starports. Looks like this is going to be a +1 bio timing here with these 2 upgrades. And this is actually going to be quite scary for Sly Crab. Does he know? Doesn't have the army tagged. He sees these units starting to walk over, so he's got to realize that there's something coming across here. He's got only 1 shield battery, and there's 1 immortal, but that's a lot of bio and a couple of boys to boot, friends. We do have some Phoenix here, but there aren't any tanks with this, so the Phoenix aren't going to do a huge amount in terms of lifting things. They're going to try to pick up a couple of units. Battery overcharge does come down, but we have a lot of workers falling here. A couple warpins are going to show up, but this battery overcharge doing huge amounts to keep that Immortal alive. And Sly Crab picking up game number 1 pretty convincingly. That's interesting. That bio push looked pretty scary, but I guess with the additional warpins and with the... I feel like the Phoenix lifted a couple of units, but they didn't do a huge amount in that engagement, other than just like keeping the Marauders off of the Stalkers. But yeah, the Adepts and the Oracle, I think, really did a huge amount of work. The Oracle flying home, being a part of that fight, and not getting focused down, I think really was what did it there. Obviously, the battery overcharge, very strong, making all of the units practically invincible for Sly Crab. And yeah, Sly Crab got a huge amount of damage done early too, right? Sending in that 1 Oracle to the main and the 3 Adepts to the natural. 9 workers at a point in the game when you only have 20. Like, losing a third of your workers is not ideal. So I think that's why Wannabe Beyond pulled the boys, went for that attack, but unfortunately couldn't break through. We should be getting into map number 2 here shortly. We are still waiting on... who are we waiting on? Wannabe Beyond, maybe? So map number 2 is going to be Everdream. So Sly Crab did choose the first map, so that was a choice by our Protoss player here. So this next map is going to be a choice done by our Terran. All right, all the players are now in the game. Should see it start up very shortly here. Both players indicating that they are ready. And we should be starting soon? Question mark. Do I need to bust out the yo-yo again? Perhaps. Mayhaps. There we go. Game starting up now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And away we go. So it'll be interesting to see, like I mentioned before, Sly Crab did choose map number 1. Can Wannabe Beyond pick up game number 2 on the map that he chose? Only time will tell. But spawning in the top right-hand side of Everdream, it is your red Protoss player, hot off of his first victory. It is none other than Sly Crab. And in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player going for a slightly cheeky play here. It is Wannabe Beyond. Now I talk about this cheeky play because there's an SCV out here, and Wannabe Beyond, this is not your ramp. Usually you build the barracks at your ramp. This is not that location. Now Sly Crab going for that Gateway Scout is going to get across the map. Should see the lack of barracks here. Now, there's only one SCV out here, so this is only going to be one proxied barracks. But we do see the double refinery coming out here. So, are we going to get a factory after this? Is the factory going to go down right here? Be interesting to see where this follow-up goes. Cybernetics Core coming down. Sly Crab realizing, okay, I do not feel safe enough to just take my Nexus here. Going to start scouting for some other locations. Reaper is on the way here. And this SCV wants to drop the factory, but this probe... Oh, well, it's dropping the supply depot. Oh, okay. This one's going to drop the factory. Bunker coming down here at the natural. Now, Zealot is here. It's going to start hacking and slashing, but a Reaper should be able to come over and protect shortly. There's that factory that we talked about earlier. SCV does have to pull away from the bunker, but this Zealot is a little bit distracted in here, and now it's not in the main to help protect these probes. One probe is going to fall, possibly a second. Oh, nice dodging here with that Reaper. Stalkers should be out here in a moment, and that's going to stop the rest of this aggression, but a third probe does fall. Now, there's more. There's another Reaper in production here. This poor SCP, not allowed to get home. Oh. Okay. Raises the wall to keep the probe in here. Says, you know what? You're not getting out, friend. You're trapped. But that does mean that Sly Crab does have all the scouting information. And he's actually going to go ahead and send his first Stalker and his first Zealot across the map. Cyclone should pop pretty soon. Should be able to protect this base. Actually, it's a little ways out. Barracks slowly floating back in. Now, Wannabe throwing down his command center, has to take it on the high ground right now. Doesn't quite have the ability to completely fight off these units. Cyclone just now popping here. And Wannabe Beyond's expansion going to be quite a ways behind Sly Crab's. Blink is on the way. This is kind of that standard opening that I was talking about. Got a little bit slowed down because of that early Reaper harass, but at the end of the day, nothing too crazy. We have a Cloaked Banshee follow-up coming out of Wannabe Beyond, and a reactor coming down on top of this barracks. So, be interesting to see if he floats one of these structures onto it, or if he just starts cranking out those low-tier bio units. Command center finishing up here. Should either turn into an orbital and then land, or just float over. I like the orbital play, yeah, and that's what Bjorn is going to go for as well. Because while you get to start, quote, mining sooner if you land it, if you build this here, all the time that's floating through the air, you're accruing energy. So you'll get those mules a little bit faster, all sorts of things like that. Now this Banshee is floating across the top. Cloak is about to finish here. And currently, we don't have a Robo Bay or a Stargate from... Okay, just now the Robo Bay is going down. Blink is finished, but there's nothing to detect this. No cannons in the mineral line or anything like that. So we could see a fair number of probes fall to this Banshee. The Robo Bay a little bit late here. Sly Crab's build getting... ooh! Not quite getting the one shot here off on this Banshee. 5 workers, 6 workers. Oh. Not doing a great job of focus firing here. There's a lot of workers with half health here. 8, 9, 10, and now the work is starting to happen. Sly Crab realizing, okay, I don't have my robo. It's going to be a while before I have my observer. I need to go put pressure on, sending the stalkers across the map here. Blink is done. Oh, but he just kind of walks in and stands here, getting shelled by both of these tanks. At this point, 17, 18 workers are going to fall. Even if he gets this Banshee, this is a hero Banshee getting 20 worker kills. Massive economic damage, sending Sly Crab back to the Stone Age with 16 workers. Being down in workers is never the position you want to be as a Protoss against a Terran. Terrans, of course, also have mules to subsidize their economy. And Sly Crab has to make something happen here. Trying to chrono boost out probes to catch up, but... oh, nice cloak there is going to negate that second shot that would have killed this. Now the observer isn't quite fast enough to come over here and catch up with this Banshee. This Poor Cyclone, so red, needs some TLC. And here it comes. SCV's coming over here to give it little hugs and kisses. Scan comes down, does allow Wannabe Beyond to pick off that observer. Now we've got one Banshee that's going to fly here into the the natural, while we have another one that's going to go into the natural. I think Wannabe, or Sly Crab, was hoping to blink into the main, but losing that observer does mean that's no longer an option. If you look at the units, I think there's one observer on the map. It's headed into the main, so this Banshee will get cleaned up here eventually. But the Banshee at the south side able to get away scot-free, and 6 more workers have fallen. Wannabe Beyond still at double the worker count of his opponent. Nearly double the army supply. I guess not quite. 29 versus 43, so. But the longer the game goes, the longer that, or the more that disparity will grow. And behind this, you know, we're getting upgrades. We're getting 1-1 here for our Terran player. Stim, combat shields, medevacs. Like, Wannabe Beyond's army is getting better, whereas Sly Crabs is just kind of sticking with Stalkers, right? We're getting charge, but Stalkers, while they're good, they're not great, especially against stimmed bio and tanks. They might be able to deny, or at least slow down this command center very briefly. Oh, a lot of these workers actually... Oh, actually, none of the workers are going to go down. Sly Crab choosing to try to just kill the command center. Oh, but blinking up here, definitely not ideal. Taking some huge siege tank shots here. The bio's going to come up and clean up the rest of this army. And now, Sly Crab is in a world of hurt, down to 12 army supplies. These 4 stalkers, now 7 stalkers, are the entirety of the army. I guess technically there's an observer as well. Second one here. But there's just so much bio here. I think an A move would just win at this point. But who knows? Blink is pretty good as long as he can continue kiting. Maybe he can do something. But I'm a little bit skeptical. Charge just now finishing, and yeah, Wannabe Beyond rolling over Sly Crab here at the end. The amount of damage that those Banshees were able to do was just astronomical. I think what happened was the early harass that Wannabe Beyond did with the Reapers at the very start of the match was able to kind of just throw off Sly Crab just enough, get his timings a little bit out of the loop, and because of that, he forgot to start his robo on time. And because that robo was so late, the Banshees just came in and just had their way, right? It killed 20 workers at the beginning. So once Sly Crab got set back that far, I think it was going to be nearly impossible for them to recover. But in any case, we are climbing into game number 3. This is going to be on Pillars of Gold, one of our new maps here. And let's get into it. For those of you just now joining us, this is the Alpha X Junior Championship, Season 7, Group B. We are currently on our second match of the group stage between Sly Crab and Wannabe Beyond. We are tied up 1-1, and we are here on Pillars of Gold to see who will continue. Spawning in the top right-hand side as your red Protoss player, it is Sly Crab. And in the bottom left, your blue Terran player, it is Wannabe Beyond. Each player won the map that they chose, so now we are on the, quote, remaining map of the pool. It looks like no player is going to take a chance to try to do any cheeky proxy quite yet. Want to be on going for that early Reaper last time. Didn't get huge damage done, but like I said, I think that just the fact that there was a proxy kind of threw Sly Crab's build order off just enough that the Robo was delayed, and not having that observer, I think, cost Sly Crab the game. Sly Crab going for that Nexus first. Not even actually gateway scouting. Very bold move here by Sly Crab, kind of saying, you know what? I don't think you'll do that twice in a row. I'm going to be greedy. I'm not going to scout. I'm just going to take this command center blind. Now, want to be BN, thinking, hey, where was your scouting probe? I need to know what's going on. Sending this SCV across the map. Does come up here, sees that Nexus, and by the health bar should know that it was Nexus before core. Command center coming down here. It's going to be about 2/3 of the way done by the time that this finishes. Now this Reaper is going to come in here. It is actually going to end up getting one worker. Ooh, it does get one worker before getting out, and gets a full scout in here, right? Sees the Stargate. It's really the only thing that would be telling at all, but. It's pretty interesting. This map is actually fairly anti-ledge-y. There's like only this spot here to get in. All the rest of this wall you cannot climb in on. You can't jump up here because of the little doodads. You can't jump up here because of this doodad. Like, there's a lot of crap. You can't. I don't think you can jump up here because there's this doodad here. So maybe you can make it in right there, but I'm not positive. A lot of weird stuff on this map. As a cannon rusher, I know this all too well because it means I can't drop any cannons in pockets anywhere. Some shenanigans on this map. I think this is going to be the new purity in industry, right? The map that most players don't want to play on. Now we do have a Phoenix coming in here. It's not a hallucination. That is a real Phoenix flying in to get a scout. And actually, while it's in here, these Adepts are going to shade forward and they're going to start picking off workers. 3 Adepts do one-shot a worker. Oh, his Adepts aren't quite synced. Does mean they're going to waste some time here. Not quite get all the things they need. But getting 3 workers and getting out absolutely free. Not taking any damage at all. I think Sly Crab is going to be happy with that. Robo Facility, excuse me, coming down at this point, as well as 2 more gateways. On the other side of the map, we do have a Viking coming out first. Actually, it's going to be 2 Vikings. I think one would be on is a little bit afraid of the air, right? He saw that early starport, and so decided that he needed to kind of like preempt it by making these Vikings. Sly Crab has actually transitioned off and is going into the robotics bay, right? We'll see possibly some Colossus, but possibly some Disruptors. I'm not actually sure. I mean, seeing these Vikings might influence that decision slightly. But as long as Sly Crab continues to make Phoenix, which they're doing, maybe the Phoenix will fight off. Ooh, okay, I say that, but then Sly Crab losing a couple of units in the middle. 2 Phoenix have fallen at this point. And that's not really what you want to have happen. You want to keep these Phoenix alive. You want them to always be a threat, right? You can come in here, pick up some workers, kill them off. If the army's coming across the map, you want to be able to pick up tanks. You want to build up a lot of energy. So losing those 2 Phoenix, definitely not great. We do have a Colossus underway and a 3rd Nexus coming down for Sly Crab. 3rd CC finishing now. It should be turning into an orbital And then we'll float out to that third base location here for wannabe Björn. Colossus does finish, second one in production here. And at this point, we're kind of at that stage of the game where both players just kind of teching up, building up their army. Wannabe Björn doing a good job of getting upgrades, whereas on the other side of the map, I don't think we have any forges even. Yeah, no forges down yet, and not leaning into the air upgrades at all. So Sly Crab is going to start falling behind in that upgrade count, which, as the game goes on, is actually going to really start affecting the efficacy of his army, right? His army isn't going to be doing as much damage. He's not going to be able to trade as evenly. This Phoenix trying to do something here, but wants to make sure to keep them alive. Marines and tanks coming out to protect, while both players establish their thirds. Okay, dropping down a bunch more pylons. Trying not to get supply blocked here, as the units are going to start swelling. Should see a bunch of gateways come down from Sly Crab soon as well. We see 2 in production, 3 in production. Okay, there they are. Now, it's been slowly building this Phoenix count back up. There is a turret here, so we can probably fly in and pick up a couple of these units. But you don't want to get too greedy. Like I said, you want to keep these Phoenix alive. These are supposed to be high value units, right? You just continue over and over, just picking up a couple workers here, you know, letting your shield go down and then flying back out. All right. Now, pro production has stopped, and we do see a lot more gateways coming down. Where are those other gateways getting built? Oh, there's only the additional 2 here on top of the 3 in the main. So with the lack of pro production and all of these production structures coming online, I imagine Sly Crab is going to make a big push, and here we see it coming. Do we have a warp prism? We do have a warp prism. It is with the army, I think. Yeah, unfolding here. Couldn't see it. It was blending in with the Colossus. Here comes the engagement. Now we have a lot of tanks. Phoenix flying in here, trying to pick up the tanks. Colossi doing a fair bit of work on the bio there, but there's so many tanks in the background that just shred through all of the gateway units here. Sly Crab going to try to rotate around, maybe come up this ramp here. But this is a nice position as well. As soon as Sly Crab tries to push down into this location, he's going to get hit from the top left and the bottom left. This is a hairy engagement location. Yeah, all of these tanks, and Sly Crab realizing that, kind of inching forward, pulling back. This is not looking great for our Protoss player. Nice EMP there, takes out the shield of almost all of this Protoss army. And this game is starting to go in favor of our Terran player, I think. Still not over yet, not by a long shot. We have Disruptors coming out, Twilight Council finishing up. But again, I still don't see any forges. So we don't have any upgrades coming out for our Protoss player. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, +2/+2 is underway for wannabe Björn, which is just making his army that much stronger. And wannabe Björn kind of realizes this is like, you know what? I'm just going to walk across the map. I'm going to come kill your base, and then I'm going to go kill your other base and just win. A lot of Stalkers getting warped in here, and I guess now we don't have any defenses. So if Sly Crab wanted to go, now would be the time. Go in there, kill off a base, kill off a bunch of workers, maybe get on top of production, and then recall home to the main. But you've got to do it right now because both armies are hitting. We are getting into a base trade scenario. This Dark Shrine I don't think is actually going to survive. Command Center here does fall immediately. Sly Crab getting in here. Is Blink done? Blink is not done. It is on the way, so these Stalkers do have to start walking. There it is, halfway done at this point. It's going to start walking in. But on the other side here, this Nexus is falling as well. Both players doing huge amounts of damage to one another. And I'm not actually sure, you know, when these armies meet, I think I think the Terran army wins if it is sieged. If not, then the Protoss army might be able to get on top of it. Will Blink finish here? He's not powering it down. It's still up here. Blink is going to be a very important upgrade. Now, all of the Nexuses are down. One more getting rebuilt here. But the command center on this side of the map flying away. Alright, so at this point, Wannabe Beyond does know where the army is. And Blink barely finishes. Oh, that's actually pretty huge that Wannabe Beyond didn't cancel Blink, because Blink is going to make this army a lot scarier and a lot stronger. He will be able to jump on top of things, become much more mobile, rotate around, and kill the units, the tanks and the Vikings that are out of position. Now, Wannabe Beyond sneakily just re-landing all these structures. Gonna start producing as soon as he has the supply depots to do so. Currently, 111. Now, Sly Crab, it's gonna be a while before Sly Crab can produce anything. I almost think that this Nexus is a little bit pointless, other than perhaps needing it to make Void Rays later. And here comes the engagement. Now the tanks are sieged way back in the back, not in this fight at all. All the Colossus have fallen. Stalkers fighting the Marauders and the SCVs. And Wannabe Beyond takes this base trade and takes this series. Well done by our Terran player. So this does mean that our two winners bracket players are going to head up against each other. This is going to be Ghosty versus Wannabe Beyond, which means we will follow that matchup with Sly Crab versus Optimistic. So this is a double elimination group. So you've got players, all four players play. The winners of each play each other. The losers of each play each other, and then the loser of the winners match plays the winner of the losers match. So exact same format as GSL and most other tournaments that have group stages. And looks like we are getting ready to start this next game between Mini Ghosty and Wannabe Beyond. This will be a TVZ. Okay, it looks like Optimistic has forfeited, so there will be no losers match. So that means the loser of this match will go on to play against Sly Crab. Yeah. So if Beyond loses, then Sly Crab will have another chance to take down Beyond. And if Ghosty loses, then Sly Crab will have a new Zerg opponent to play against. Alright, we are getting the vetoes underway in this match between Ghosty and Wannabe Beyond. The veto order is ABBA and then ABC. Let's see. It looks like the first veto is going to be by Wannabe Beyond. It's going to be Golden Wall. Mini Ghosty following up with Eternal and Pillars of Gold. Wannabe Beyond thinking about what the last veto is going to be and what he is going to choose for this first match. Everdream is going to be the last veto here. And the first map that we will play on, friends, is going to be Submarine. This does mean that Mini Ghosty gets to choose the second map. The remaining choices are Death Aura and what's the other new map? Ice and Chrome. Yeah. All right, looks like we are going to have Ice and Chrome as our second map and Death Aura as the third map, should we make it that far. And let's get underway. Hey, wannabe Bien. Welcome to the chat. All right, so here we go, Submarine. This is one of our new maps here. This is a TVZ, our winners match here, between Mini Ghosty and Wannabe Beyond. And let's get into it. All right, friends, spawning in the top left-hand side of Submarine is your blue Zerg player, Mini Ghosty. I was hoping the music would kind of like swell and then drop, but I don't know the song well enough, so I'm sorry. Bummer. In the bottom right-hand side, there's the person who chose this map. It is your red Terran player, Wannabe Beyond. For those of you just now joining us, the bracket is listed there. If you do exclamation B, you can see the bracket. Also, make sure to head on over to the Matcherino page. I believe we still have some codes available. You can contribute and make sure that these wonderful under 16 players are getting compensated and getting the prize pool that they deserve. So far, everything's pretty standard. You know, we've got our hatchery coming down here. We do have some lings coming out. On the other side of the map, we do have a command center coming down. Reaper en route. These lings are a little fast. They're going to make their way across the map, I think. And this SCV actually sees them. And it's like, wait a second. Wait a second, those things are supposed to be here to like defer my Reaper. What are you doing making that pool first? Not about that life. So this Reaper is gonna have to stay here to protect this SCV, keep it from dying. The Marine here now will also do the job. Trying to raise the wall, but of course there's no add-on quite yet. So that means this ling will get in. We'll see the second gas as well as the factory. Other lings here trying to get some damage done, but not really going to be able to do much. But because those lings went across the map and kept that Reaper home, it means that this hatchery got down relatively unfettered. SCV is going to make its way into the main. Does see that almost all of the workers have been pulled off the gas. Sees the pool researching. It's like, okay. I know that you're not going for any tech path. I know that 100 gas that you've mined. You know, by clicking on this, I can see you've mined like 150, or I guess about 200 now. Yeah, 200 gas at this point. I know 100 of it is tied up in speed. Reaper gonna come in here. Oh, Reaper able to easily pick off the new light creep tumor. This new patch definitely going well for Reapers, Hellions, and Adepts in terms of fighting tumors. Creep tumors used to be armored units. They are now light. And we see the 2 Hellions and the Reaper coming over here. And we do have 3 queens on the low ground. Another queen about to pop in the main. And a 5th queen coming out here. So I don't think these units are going to get too much done here. Queens do have to be careful though. And with all these queens, we should see the creeps starting to explode across the map. Mini Ghosty really trying to take advantage of the creep highway. Hellions trying to pop in here, see the Lings that have speed, see the queens, and decide better of it. They are going to pull home before any of them die. Banshee making its way across the map. Cloak is underway. The spores are just now getting started, and lair as well. But I think the spores will finish in time to protect Mini Ghosty from this cloak. Yeah, sure enough. Perfect timing. Queens are a little bit forward. There should be 1 queen coming out here soon. Here comes the Banshee. It's going to fly in. It's going to start off with 2 worker kills. Oh, wow. Actually going to get a 3rd and a 4th. Oh, okay. I lied. Isn't going to get a 4th. But it gets 3 for free. Flies out. Does also scout this 4th hatchery. 3rd command and center here. Morphing. Upgrading into a orbital command. An orbital command, I guess. Ling's going to go ahead and try to take down the rocks in the middle here. I guess not quite the middle, but near the 4th base. It'd be great to take these rocks down as well, but even taking this down allows for a much cleaner path, much more open on over this way. 2 Banshees going to fly on up here. Now 2 Banshees is the magic number that you need to be able to start one-shotting workers. So I'm going to come in here, start killing off some of those things. We do have an Overseer morphing. And do we already have an Overseer on the map? There is 1 currently in the main base. Banshee's trying to get a little bit of damage done, but as soon as this Overseer morphs, 2 Banshees are not going to be able to kill off 5 queens. And look at this creep spread. There are so many creep tumors here. I guess 1 fewer now. Ooh. Not quite able to snipe the other one there. Queen's doing too good of a job. Actually, even able to pick off 1 of those Banshees, despite the Queen range nerf. Okay, but here come the Hellions and the Reapers. Let's go ahead and just kind of follow them around a little bit. They are going to get trapped here actually a little bit. Well, if those queens had moved forward, they could have completely locked in those units. I guess they were off creep, so they were kind of slow. But still, losing a couple of Hellions there. 3 Hellions do fall. And, yeah, we got an Infestation Pit coming down, as well as the roly-poly speed for our Banelings. +1/+1 melee for our Zerg player. Nice little double medevac drop coming across as well. So we'll have to see. Right as this is going out, it looks like we're going to have a bit of a Ling run by. The wall is currently down. Will it raise? Ooh, it doesn't quite get up in time. So these things are going to get in. Now the workers going to get out quickly, and we do have a siege tank on the high ground, so not a whole lot is going to get done there. But at the other side here, we do have Marines trying to fight here, and now roly-polies are not quite done yet. Oh, now they start rolling, and as soon as they start rolling, Wannabe Beyond picks up those Marines, saves them from their explosive fates. Now returning these workers back to the mines, mineral patches. You know, it's interesting. You would almost think that, like... So, okay. First of all, I know that not all Marines are convicts, right? I think in the lore it's just like some of the Imperial Armada is, you know, are convicted felons, but not all of them. There are plenty of career veterans and, you know, other people like that within the Terran army. But I still think it would be I'm surprised that it's like the combat soldiers that you're giving stuff. You're not like, you know, making them miners, right? I think it'd be safer to take your convicts and make them, you give them a pickaxe instead of an assault rifle. But I guess they want that aggressive fighting spirit. So the Overlord here does end up falling, finally. It's actually pretty late. That Overlord survived much longer than it should have, if I'm going to be honest. Should have died as soon as the first medevac came out, or even when the CC here lifted to go take the other base. Now the wall is down once again. There's a lot of Lings getting ready to try to run by. +2/+2 isn't quite done yet, but with the Hive, we do have Adrenal Glands coming, and the Hydralisk upgrades are started as well. Lings getting in here. 7 workers have fallen. I apologize for not being on this sooner. 9 workers have fallen at this point. And all of this army, well, not all of it, but a lot of this army is having to turn around for the Terran player. Quite a bit of damage done to this command center. Looks like most of these Lings will get cleaned up. But at the same time, I mean, you know, we're losing 10 workers on one side of the map, while at the other side, we're taking our 5th base here. Am I counting right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases for our Zerg player to the 3 of our Terran. And it looks like we are about to have our first major engagement of this mid-game. Baneling's running, getting some pretty decent connections there. But at the same time, another Baneling run by here at the natural kills off 18 workers. These Banelings doing even more to clean up that part of the army. Wannabe Beyond getting hit from multiple sides here. And starting to fall apart just a little bit. Mini Ghosty up 85 workers to 34 right now. Adrenal Glands is about to finish. The Hydralisk speed has just finished, and we have Vipers coming out on the field. Wannabe Beyond realizing that he has to get something done now. More Lings are streaming in here. His economy is completely in shambles at this point. 3rd base not mining at all. Just trying to push forward, scanning to take down the creep tumors. There's just so many queens and hydras here. Got 10 more banelings morphing, and they are on the side here so that they can run down and flank this army. And here they come rolling in. Lings from the backside, going to try to trap it, not quite getting it, but still some decent connections. And with that, I think all these hydras are going to be able to clean up this army for Wannabe Beyond, and I think that should be the game. Sure enough, Mini Ghosty takes game number 1. And we'll be heading on into game number 2 between Mini Ghosty and Wannabe Beyond. This is our winners bracket match. Map number 2 is going to be Ice and Chrome. So Wannabe Beyond was actually the person who chose that first map. Mini Ghosty choosing Ice and Chrome second. So we will see if Mini Ghosty is able to just take it on the map that Mini Ghosty chose, or if Wannabe Beyond is gonna stay in this series. Only time will tell. All right. Let's hop into this game. Ryan SC2, rather than texting you, I will just respond to you in voice here. This is someone in chat, obviously, talking and asking a few questions, which I can actually just answer here as well. So we are on a 2-minute delay, but these matches are being played live. Alpha X hosts tons and tons of different tournaments. Some of them are GSL format, with group stages. I believe the last month or the month before, we had the Into the Alpha X Pro circuit, which is a huge tournament with a bunch of amazing players playing in it. But we also do show matches, best of 9s quite frequently. You can definitely check out all of our stuff on the Alpha X calendar. I will link that in just a moment. But let me go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning. Oh, thank you, Sushi. Sushi is going ahead and responding to that. Spawning in the top right-hand side of Ice and Chrome. Is he going to go through and take this match? It is your Red Zerg player, Mini Ghosty. And spawning, the bottom left-hand side. Can he take his revenge and keep his dreams in this match, or this series, alive? It is Wannabe Bjorn. Now, the loser of this is not out. The loser will go on to play against, I believe, Sly Crab. So, Wannabe Bjorn 2-1'd Sly Crab earlier. Mini Ghosty has not yet played against Sly Crab. Ooh, looks like a misplacement there, causing a cancel and a rebuild. Either that or a misclick, making the wrong structure. But in any case, both players getting their structures down. And let's go ahead. Oh, I just realized I have not changed the overlay. Let me hop on into the game. My apologies, friends. All right here. Apologies, I'm responding to a few things in chat. But yeah, at this point, everything's pretty standard still. We've got a third hatchery coming down. Starport starting up for Wannabe Bjorn. And let's go ahead and see if anything else is going on. Nothing too crazy. I mean, we're just droning. We're teching. Overlord trying to fly in to this base, get a scat off, does see the reactor on the factory. Now, I think Mini Ghosty will know that those are 2 Hellions. Sometimes in PvT, you'll see 2 mines pop out of that, but for the most part in PvZ, it's going to be 2 Hellions. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, so a little bit of creep getting cleared up here. Apologies for the delay there. Nice Hellbats coming in here. There's a fair number of queens here, but if these Hellbats get on top of the drones, this could be disastrous. There's only Lings to defend at this point. Roach Warren not done, not even started, not created. So this push here catching Mini Ghosty a little bit off guard and actually doing a lot more damage than I expected it to. The hidden armory coming in clutch here. We still have all of the Hellbats alive. The queens are slowly falling, and these Hellbats are just going to shred through any Lings that come out. Drones trying to return to the line at the main while these ones run away. And this is a lesson, friends, as to why you don't skip that Roach Warren, right? It's a very good safety unit. Turning back into Hellions, now able to be a little bit more mobile. Kite these Lings away. Now, in terms of workers lost, not a huge amount of economic damage, but it did... Okay, we still have 2 Hellions. Shouldn't get too much done. Well, up until this point, only 1 drone had been killed. Okay, only 2 more fall. It's actually very, very well handled by Mini Ghosty. Now, did have to throw away quite a few lings, and all that larva could have been drones, all that money could have been going into other things, but overall, I think that was an amazing job by Mini Ghosty, keeping alive all of those units. Now, Spore is done. Overseer's here to help let these queens... Ooh, what is going on with this creep? Oh, Blizzard, why? Why? Don't do this, Blizzard. Oh no. This is like the shield battery glitch that was happening the other day. They hotfix patched that out, but apparently there are still a few things to address. Now we do have another Spore here, and there's a queen in the main. But these Banshees gonna come in here, try to immediately start slamming down that queen. Should have a couple of queens coming in to help, maybe? They're just chilling over here. Okay, another queen does come up to help, and it scares away the Banshees for now. Mini Ghosty going ahead to and taking this 3rd hatchery here. Getting Overlord speed, I think that's kind of nice. Allows you to chase down these Banshees and get some better scouting information. Lings are going to come over here and see this 3rd command center trying to land, as well as the nice Maynard of workers. He's going to try to run away with stim on those Marines. Those Zerglings are not long for this world. We do have a Spire coming down from Mini Ghosty. On the other side of the map, +1/+1 coming out of Wannabe Beyond. Wannabe Beyond being like on top of his upgrades in all of the matches so far. Mini Ghosty not falling down either though. Actually a little bit ahead in terms of... Actually no, a little bit behind still. Sorry, I was looking at combat shield, not the armor. But +1/+1 will finish shortly after the +1/+1 for the Terran player. Got a bunch of medevacs loading up some Marines here. Gonna fly on over to this 4th base. Now there is a 5th base underway for Mini Ghosty. We've got some banelings already here. Roly-poly centrifugal hooks about to finish. Now these Marines are going to start running forward, and the Ling's going to try to get the wraparound. Okay, baneling connection. Queen's going to take down one of the medevacs. Very good hold here by Mini Ghosty, not getting caught at all by this little 2 medevac drop. But of course, keeping the pressure on the Zerg player does allow 1v to get this base up and stay alive, get the economy going. Now we don't have another CC in production quite yet, right? And we actually don't see any more SCVs. So I think 1v looking to stay on 3 bases, keep that 60 workers and just kind of win off of this economy. We've got a big push coming across the map here. And so far, Mini Ghosty doesn't actually have vision of it. He lost this tower earlier when the double medevac drop came in. But these Mutalisks are actually going to see part of it. And now they might get a little bit caught. Ooh, okay. Mutas are going to realize that they can pick off these reinforcing units. But Mini Ghosty going to have to make a lot more banelings to deal with this bio. Actually does have a fair number. How many? Total of 13 banelings currently. A lot more lings in production. And gets an okay connection there. Kills a fair number of bio units. There's only 2 tanks. There's a lot more army coming up to join here in a moment. Ling's running forward, trying to pick off some stuff. They do not get any of the tanks. A lot of them do fall. And Queen's fighting the Marines and actually getting flanked by another patch of Marines here. Very well done by Wannabe Beyond. Bio's getting completely destroyed here on the top by those Banes, but there's just so much more in the bottom right. The tanks and the remaining Marines definitely going to be more than Mini Ghosty can handle. And a great push there by Wannabe Björn. This does mean that we will go on to game number 3 between Mini Ghosty and Wannabe Björn. This is going to be on Death Aura. And this will close out our winners series. The winner of this match will move on, and the loser will have to go back and play against Sly Crab. All right. Looks like one of our players is ready. Is the other player ready as well? We will find out shortly. Let me double check and make sure that the bracket is completely updated. Those of you typing B in the chat. We currently have Ghosty won the first series. Wannabe Björn picked up the second. Currently, we are in the winners match. Looks like Wannabe Björn needs a moment. So I can go ahead and try to edit this. Oh, I do not have... I can't edit it. Sorry, friends. Unfortunate. Oh, I could log in. I'm already registered. I'm logged in. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can quite update the bracket on Team Liquid at this time. Apologies, friends. All right. Well, in any case, we are climbing into this game. I updated you in terms of who, like what the bracket standing is in chat, so you should be good to go on that front. And we are now climbing into game number, game number 3 between these two young players. Spawning in the top left-hand side, it is your Zerg player wearing the color purple, Mini Ghosty. And in the bottom right, it is your blue Terran player. It is Wannabe Björn. So we do have a pool first coming down from Mini Ghosty. Hatch just now starting up. Everything relatively standard here from our Terran player. Now look at this Overlord. So fast in the speedy zone. You're so fast, you're so fast. And then... You're slow? You're slow again. Just watch from a different angle. Oh. He's got his zoomies on. Those kicks. Alright, enough of that. Nice. The music changed as soon as we got ready to do something more serious. We do have a scouting SCV making its way across the map as soon as it finishes making that barracks. We got a Reaper coming out. We've got a command center. And we got a game on our hands. We got 4 Lings coming out. Gonna hopefully help defend this base and help secure this one. Scare away this mean SCV. Actually, Ling's just running straight across the map again. Mini Ghosty going for the approach of, I'm not going to defend with these things. I'm going to force you to come home and defend with your Reaper. I think that's a wise choice. Now the Marine is here at this point. So it does mean that these Lings definitely won't be able to get much done. Queen, though, on the other side, able to defend here. Lings trying to get on top of this Marine, and they will actually get a fair bit of damage. 2 Lings are going to die, but they will kill 3, actually, at this point. They are going to kill off that 1 Marine. Not quite an even trade there, but, you know, definitely taxing your opponents, multitasking, their mental fortitude. Fast layer coming down from Mini Ghosty. And this is interesting. This is not something we've seen in the past couple of games, so we'll have to see what the follow-up is. There's no gas on the way here, so I'm betting we're going to see a Nidus, friends. The first 100 gas being used on layer instead of on speed. That's the only thing I can think of. Although we haven't pulled off gas yet, so it doesn't quite mean anything. But just the lack of other gas. Okay, here we go. Here come the other gases. So now it's unclear what this layer is going to be for. But I think if you go in layer and you have no gas, like the only thing you can really do is just try to flood Lings into your opponent's base. But here we go. Spire coming down now. This is going to be a fairly fast Spire. We saw Mini Ghosty trying to go for that air tech last game, but it came a little bit late, and there were just so many Marines in there that Mini Ghosty was kind of unable to do anything. Even after the amazing defense that Mini Ghosty was able to do, saving himself from that early oh, Terran wins, the losers don't play. Is that true? Wait. I don't know if that's true, because Mini Ghosty won the first round. If Mini Ghosty loses here, wouldn't Mini Ghosty still have to play against the, quote, winner of the losers bracket? Which...
Game paused.
The winner of the losers bracket is going to be Sly Crab. We are playing on Central Europe. Unfortunate that Mini Ghosty is getting a little bit of lag here.
Game resumed.
Banshee does come in here, tries to find some drones, gets a couple. Actually, the Hellions over here, I think, are what actually got the drones. Banshee's pulled pretty fast, but currently taking a little while to get this Overseer. Now, eventually, it does come down. Scan does reveal the Spire here. So at this point, I want to be aware of what is happening. It's going to need to throw down some turrets and start cranking out those Marines. Marines coming and actually switching over to mines instead of Hellions. Oh, these are interesting medevac, or interesting Mutalisk skins. Alright, and here we go. Mini Ghosty trying to get in here to do some of this economic damage. Gonna pick off, okay, one turret. Oh, doesn't quite actually finish here. Mini Ghosty doing a great job of killing the thing, but it looks like it's done. So Mini Ghosty doesn't actually realize that he can still fight in there. That's quite amusing, I think. Does have to be careful that these Mutalisks don't fly over those mines. Is able to come in here and pick off a few workers. Now, how many Mutalisks do we have here? We have a total of 7. I think 5 is the magic number needed. But coming in and just massacring these upgrades is going to get the deny off on the armor. does pull back there. But on the other side of the map, 21 workers have fallen. This Banshee's coming in and doing some great work. I apologize, I didn't catch it on screen. Well, this does mean that our worker count is 36 to 41, so not too different. Although the Zerg player definitely going to be able to repopulate, already back to 41 versus 44. There's a lot of mines in here, so Mini Ghosty's going to have to be very careful with these medevacs. Or excuse me, with these mutalisks. Ooh. Yeah, we've got a fair number of mines repositioning here. If they just fly... Ooh, gotta be careful. Now this still isn't finished, despite looking like it's done. I just want to point out this is an incomplete missile turret here. No protection. Also means that it can't be repaired, but I guess as long as he just right-clicks on it, it'll just finish. Just right-click on it with an SCV. Now this mutalisk count's starting to get pretty high here. +2 attack coming down, and we're already up to a total of 17 mutalisks here. So this is no small number of mutants, right? This is commitment to a mutalisk army. Another hatchery on the way, 4th base coming down. Oh, some big hits here with those mines. Now, the mutants aren't dead yet, and if they pull back, they should be able to heal back almost all of that health. You know, we've only lost 4 mutalisks in total to this point, but oh, flying into those stimmed marines is not what these mutalisks want to be doing right now. Another one trying to join up with the army, getting picked off, and these marines trying to chase down the mutalisks. These medevacs are so low. Mutas circling around up here. They are going to get some free worker kills. So like, what are you guys doing out here? Gonna fly into the main. There is one mine here. Doesn't quite get its shot off. Mutalisk just pulling back. Now we see the banelings starting to come in. Mini Ghosty realizing, okay, you're trying to defend this with mass mine and mass marine. I'll send my lings in to trip your mines. Maybe have them splash damage your marines, and then behind that, I'll have the roly-poly banelings use their centrifugal hooks to crash into all of that bio. A little bit of a supply block here for wannabe Beyond. Mutalisks flying around, trying to find a place to come in, place to be annoying. 3 mines, whew, getting in here. And this turret does finally get finished. Alright, some mutalisks flying around. Ooh, pick off a medevac. They almost fall here. And yeah, we're not seeing any more droning after the space got its transfer. It's just all mutalisk production and those banelings and lings. Mutalisk coming in here, trying to shut down this engineering bay. They're going to pick off some of these units. Now, Wannabe Beyond realizing that he's had enough. He's going to go just force the issue on the other side of the map, take the fight, and try to kill Mini Ghosty from the backside. But there's so many banelings here, and they're running in. The mines are not okay, there are a couple mines here. Now, if these banelings come around from the backside, this could be pretty scary for Wannabe Beyond. The mutalisks getting forced to come home here. This 4th hatch does die, but so does this command center. We've got another kind of base trade going up. There's so many banelings just getting made on the high ground here. And with these banelings coming down, if they slam into this army, it's going to be a nightmare for Mini Beyond. Mutalisks coming in here, picking off some more supply depots, fighting the Marines. I don't think that's what they want to be doing. But this army does come home. Oh no! Oh my gosh, so many mutalisks fall down there. That was pretty huge. At this point, we've lost a total of 20 mutalisks. Now we still have 9 Mutalisks on the board right now, with 7 more coming down. Restart on this hatchery over here. I guess not really restart, but rotating from this 4th location to the other 4th location. But there's just a ton of bio up here. +1/+1 coming down. Okay, well, Mini Ghosty knows where the bio is now. Scan up here does reveal the location of all of these Banes. Mutalisks flying through. Oh, that's a cool little animation. As they get a little bit faster here. And here it comes. I think we're going to need to pull out a little bit to watch the bio come in from multiple fronts at once. Now, there's a fair number of mines down here and a pre-split that's pretty decent from Wannabe Bjorn. Actually running some of these Marines around in this direction. On the other side of the map, the Mutalisks are coming in here and trying to just shut down all this production. And if he kills off these barracks, you know, if Mini Ghosty can't produce any more units, like, that's going to be pretty hard. Okay, here it comes. Huge Baneling connections. We still have a fair number of Banes on the high ground, but there's still a lot of Marines and a lot of mines. That was a good time for Mini Ghosty to engage. The mines were not burrowed yet, but at this point, he is going to need to make some massive connections to keep from just dying. And these mines are going to do a great job of, you know, preventing that from happening. Okay, the Mutalisks are here, completely trashing the natural base. But here comes the fight. Overlord's going in to try to soak up some of those shots. Baneling's getting on top here, but pretty great splits from our Terran player. Drones coming out. There's not a whole lot left, but if these Mutalisks come back home, I think, as long as they don't get hit by some mines, I think perhaps with the Lings, they'll be able to clean up this bio. There's still a little bit of healing left on these medevacs, but not a huge amount. And here it comes, the final engagement of this game. This will decide who advances. And it looks like Mini Ghosty might have done it. Although Mini Ghosty, now that I look at it, only 6 workers? Oh, I did not realize how many had been lost here. I mean, we still had all the workers in the main here, so 25 total. So we're getting transferred back down to the natural. Oh, this is actually looking really scary for Mini Ghosty. He doesn't have an economy. He's on, like, a Heart of the Swarm, Wings of Liberty 6 worker economy. I mean, he's got these Mutalisks, but he's got to be really careful. This hatchery never really did anything except consumed a drone and 300 minerals. We've got a couple of Banelings here. Oof. Mini Ghosty trying to keep himself alive in this game by using the backstabbing potential of these Mutalisks. Flying around, zip zap zopping, trying to get stuff done. If they get trapped by all this bio, I think Mini Ghosty is going to be in trouble. You can see the production is absolutely nothing here. Being down on 6 workers means there's so little money. Had to wait for 100 minerals to make another Overlord so it could morph some units. Is going to get these Mutalisks in here. Does shut down the starport. And is getting in here on top of the other production structures. And if these structures fall, actually, I mean, this is the last of the production. If he can kill off these barracks, then there's no way for Wannabe Beyond to produce stuff either. Oh, this is pretty disgusting, friends. All right, here it comes. The Bio Army realizing, okay, I can't keep chasing these units around. If we had Burrow and we had some, like, okay. Oof. Are there any drones on the map? Okay, we got a couple burrowed Banelings here. This is it. There's no drones on the map, so if Wannabe Bjorn kills off these bases, you know, he can try to just mass repair turrets and keep himself alive. And this army over here, I think, beats all the Mutalisks, so I think, unless there's some tragic running on top of Banelings. Ooh, ooh. Are we gonna see it? Okay, couple. Oh my gosh. Okay, the mutalisks have to come home now. And I just don't think these mutalisks can do it. Unlucky. GG is called. Wannabe Bjorn will advance as our number 1 seed player. This means that Wannabe Bjorn is going to go on to play against Exo Striker in the semifinals. That's going to be next week. Let me... Yeah, we can. We're going to check and see if Wannabe Bjorn is ready to do an interview. I am going to chill in here and we will see. Okay, it looks like we're going to do the interview after the Ghosty Sly Crab match. Okay, so it looks like we do need Sly Crab. Sly Crab is online and is available. Mini Ghosty has joined the party. And it looks like we will be climbing into this game shortly. Okay, Sly Crab is now in here. And we're going to go ahead and get our vetoes all set. This is Sly Crab is A. And it is again, once again, A, B, B, A, A, B, C. Sly Crab going to start off with a Golden Wall veto. Sending it on over to the Zerg player Mini Ghosty to decide what the next veto is going to be. So we're going to see Eternal Empire and Pillars. The two vetoes coming up. And yeah, I think Pillars is going to be the map that everyone vetoes this season. Right? It's like the map that like nobody really wants to play on. There we go. Our final veto is going to be Submarine. We're going to be starting off on Death Aura by choice of Sly Crab, our Protoss player. Mini Ghosty electing to do Everdream, which does mean we will end up on... Wait. No, hold on. I think that does mean we end up on Ice and Chrome for the last one. Maybe? Question mark? We're going to do Death Aura and then Everdream, which I think leaves Ice and Chrome. Cool. Players do agree. My math adds up. Happy about that. And we're going to get ready to hop on in to this next game. Oh, on Death Aura. And away we go, friends. Looks like we're waiting on one of the French casters, perhaps? Well, wait, I'm going to take a quick drink of water. Now, this is our final series of the day for the Junior Championship Season 7 Group B play. Optimistic conceded the matches to Sly Crab for the losers matches. So we're heading straight into the final set between Sly Crab and the loser of the winner's bracket, because Sly Crab is by default the winner of the loser's bracket. So it's going to be Sly Crab versus Mini Ghosty. Sly Crab, of course, the Protoss player. Mini Ghosty, the wonderful Zerg player. It's pretty incredible that all of these players are like grandmaster, like tournament quality players at such a young age. Like they are all under 16 years old. And if I think about like my level of StarCraft at age 16, I was I think I would have been D, maybe D minus in Icy Cup. Back then it was still Brood War. When I started playing StarCraft 2, I was Diamond, and that was before GM and before Masters. And actually when they introduced Masters and GM, I still maintained Diamond for like the longest time. Eventually I was able to climb up into Masters, but it's just mind-boggling how good these Grandmasters players are at such a young age. Speaking of these young players, let's go ahead and introduce them. We are in game now. Spawning in the top left-hand side of Death Aura, it is your red Protoss player, the winner of the losers bracket. It is Sly Crab. And in the bottom right, it is your teal, maybe aqua or light blue Zerg player, the loser of the winners bracket. It is Mini Ghosty. When you see a Gateway Scout coming out of Sly Crab, just way over, and this is a pretty early pool here, friends. Some link pressure. It's going to be coming in hot, and we'll have to see if Sly Crab can defend. Hatchery just now going down. Lings en route. Now there's no gas, so Sly Crab is aware that he does not have to worry about speed for quite some time. So just thinking, okay, actually going for the Forge as part of the defense here. So I wonder if we're going to see a follow-up cannon rush. Always a possibility. So actually, okay, there we go. I was going to say a little bit of a supply block there, but it finishes up just in time here. Now this one Zealot can't really, okay, here we go. This one Zealot can start to go out and fight now. Now I think this cannon is actually a little bit much. I don't think this is necessary. I think a battery and then getting an adept would have been plenty. Oh, this poor Zealot getting caught here. Now falling back a little bit. Sly Crab going for, yeah, just a defensive cannon. I think that's a little bit overkill, right? I think if this had been a shield battery and this had been another gateway, and we'd been chronoing out like an adept here, I think Sly Crab would have been fine. I don't think this cannon was needed. But, you know, definitely make sure that we get our upgrades faster. Make sure that we can put pressure on our opponent. And it probably forced out some extra lings from Mini Ghosty, right? Because Mini Ghosty has to make sure, okay, I can't get my stuff cannon rushed here. So a little bit of metagaming there as well. We do see the Robo coming down. Overlord will spot it, And currently there's nothing that looks up to scare the Overlord away. Interesting. So the Adepts just kind of hanging out here. They are going to go around. This Overlord will see them. Okay, I was going to say, hopefully the Stalker is rallied appropriately. Oh no, it's getting stuck on the hold positioned Zealot. Adepts going to go ahead and shade over here into the natural, and they're going to get 1, 2, probably at least a third and a fourth. And these Lings aren't home, so these Adepts can continue getting pressure, or continue getting damage done, keeping the pressure on, getting a 5th and even a 6th, not quite a 6th worker, as well as getting eyes on the lair. Now they will end up getting picked off by these Zerglings. But I think 5 workers and the scout for the lair, definitely something that Sly Crab is happy with. Do have a Warp Prism coming out of our Robo, and a lot of gateways coming down. No Twilight Council yet, so we're not going to see like glaives or anything like that. But with +1 attack finishing here, I think we're going to see a huge number of +1 Zealots, right? We've seen the gas pulled off of all except for 1 worker each. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really, really big +1 Zealot push here out of Sly Crab. Currently, I mean, we're seeing the reaction. We're seeing the Lings coming out. But there's no Roach Warren, right? So, like, Lings aren't what you want to be making against +1 Zealots. +1 allows Zealots to 2-shot your Zerglings. So, I feel like we need to see some spines. We do have more Queens coming out here. And there are a lot of Lings. And I guess if you get a good enough surround with the Lings, it doesn't matter, right? You know, you're going to trade inefficiently, but you're going to just win by the fact that you have so many units. Nice force fields here, trapping these Queens. That's actually pretty huge. Now, we could load up, yeah, I was going to say, we could load up these Stalkers here and save them. Nice warping of some charge lots here and unloading those Stalkers. Beautiful play here from Sly Crab. And Mini Ghosty getting completely destroyed by this +1 Zealot timing. Amazing job. I am going to have to steal that build and do it on my own. Well done, Sly Crab. Very strong push there from our Protoss player. All right, looks like we are climbing into game number 2 here. And Sly Crab asking, have all of the games today been 2-1? The answer is yes. So far, all of the matches have been 2-1, except for the forfeited match between Sly Crab and Optimistic. But here we go. Ready to climb into game number 2 between these two players. And let's make it happen. Spawning. In the bottom left-hand corner, currently up 1-0 in this series, it is your red Protoss player. It is Sly Crab. And in the top right-hand side, it is your teal Zerg player. It is Mini Ghosty. Did I say blue? If I did, I think I said red. I just like read the word blue here, like blue flame, his team. And then like I just like got in my head. I was like, wait, did I say blue or did I say red? I can't remember. Kind of thing. Starting to second guess myself. So this is the battle of Ukraine versus Germany. Mini Ghosty being the German player, Sly Crab, the Ukrainian. And we're seeing Mini Ghosty go for that proxy Roach Rav thing that he did earlier today. He's going to take this high yield gas, and he's just going to make a ton of units out of this base, and just shove them straight down his opponent's throat. I think this was a build that Pig featured at some point on his stream. And this probe's going to roll in here and be like, okay, your pool's late. You don't have a hatchery. You have 2 drones leaving your base. What gives? And we'll see if this probe scouts it. It comes down and immediately does find it. Now, he can't steal the gas because the gas has already been taken. There's not a whole lot, actually, that the Protoss player can do to deny this base at this point in time. Right, we're going to have like 1 Zealot that can come down here and start whacking away. Actually choosing to pull a bunch of probes. Interesting. We'll have to see how this works out. 1 probe not quite getting in there because the egg is blocking. And it looks like this is actually going to get quite a bit of damage done here. We do have 6 Lings on their way out. All these workers are still drilling down on the base. Zealot here, and I'd really like for these just to be like hold positioned so that they can like turn and start fighting as soon as the Lings get on top of them. Queen is going to pop out here, and that does mean that there is a transfuse available if needed. But Sly Crab doing a pretty decent job. Oh, like I said, there is still a transfuse available on this Queen. Oh, but it doesn't get used, and the hatchery will fall. Now this means that there isn't going to be production here, and there isn't going to be any high yield gas. So this is a huge kind of, I don't want to say blunder, but a huge win here for Sly Crab, right? Because right now, Mini Ghosty is really far behind in terms of the base count. Worker count is about even, but like he doesn't have the production. You know, he only has 3 larvae at a time. This Queen is stranded out in the middle of nowhere. There's no Queen at home to inject on this. So this is going to be a really delayed push. And I think, unless this gets depowered... Okay, there we go. Sly Crab realizing it. I think Sly Crab is in a very strong position here. We don't have a Robo quite yet, and I'd like to see... Okay, Warp Gate just now finishes. We're going to probably see a few more Stalkers getting warped in. And I'd like to see some sort of tech structure come down soon. But I understand that having to... Ooh, nice pull back there. I understand that pulling those workers did definitely hurt the economy of Sly Crab slightly. It's unfortunate this Cyber Core is so exposed here. I'd like to see maybe some pressure here with the Stalkers, just kind of like poke out, shoot stuff a little bit, and deny things if at all possible. Cybernetics Core does go down, which means we can only make Zealots at this point. No other Cybernetics Core coming down quite yet. That's a gateway. And actually, Sly Crab's starting to lose his production here. It's going to be harder for Ghosty to take this base down now. Sly Crab can poke out a little bit more easily. But behind this, Mini Ghosty, trying to catch up, has the natural completed, taking the 3rd base, and just trying to kind of keep a contain going on here. Ooh, Sly Crab just now remembering to throw down that Cybernetics Core. And that's actually going to hurt quite a bit, because that means that there's going to be no Robo for quite some time. There's going to be no Stargate. All of the tech has been severely delayed for our Protoss player. So both players in kind of a funky position, right? This late in the game, not having your core, but also not really having, you know, a huge number of workers. I mean, he hasn't really been droning at all. Despite taking this third base, it's still only 15 workers for Mini Ghosty, so not really the best economic position. Continuing just to make Lings and Ravagers. Pushing in here, trying to engage a little bit, get some damage done to this command center. We still have that battery overcharge available. Bile coming down, trying to kill off this shield battery. Robo is about halfway done at this point. But here comes the fight. The Ling's getting a huge surround on all of these units. And the Stalker's going to fall first. Zealot's very slow and just getting to hack and slash against these units. Not completely the best case scenario. With the core done, we are able to warp in a couple of Stalkers here. And even if we lose some of these workers, on the other side of the map, there's not very many drones. So nice little mineral trick through to trap some of these units. Only 3 workers have fallen at this point for Sly Crab. So this is actually looking very good for our Protoss player. Does need to get these workers back to mining. Now we don't have any Zealots or Adepts to help fight against these Lings. We need to get back in range of our shield battery. Can't get overzealous here. Pun intended. Okay, okay. Just kind of pushing it back. Still 34 workers to 15. Now, with the extra hatcheries, if Mini Ghosty wanted to, Mini Ghosty could stop making Lings and could just make a ton of drones and try to macro his way out of this, but he's been behind for so long in the income tab that it might be a lost cause trying to make that transition. Oh, my apologies. I did not mean to hit that button there. My hotkeys for transitioning slides is right next to the hotkeys for controlling these things. The overlay. Zealot's going to try to run by here. Going to get into the main and probably start doing some damage to this worker line. These workers immediately getting pulled here. Ravagers on the outside still kind of stuck there. But all of the army here has been pulled in to fight these Lings. I'd like to see a couple units on the outside here. Okay, yeah. Just a few Zealots and Stalkers here. And actually, these units plugging the holes in the ramp so the Lings can't get out. Looks like we might lose a pylon here. Stalker's kind of blocking the Zealots a little bit. Now, there's another pylon here, so we're not going to get too powered. It's just going to be a little bit of a hassle. And a hold position on top of these workers is going to get a few workers, 3, maybe a 4th as well, 4 workers in total. And still no worker production out of Mini Ghosty, just continuing to commit to this all in. Man, yeah, I don't know. This observer does get spotted and does get biled down. Good eyes by Mini Ghosty. Now, with the Warp Prism here to help micro, this fight's going to get a lot easier for Sly Crab. We don't have any Immortals quite yet, so you don't have that huge micro potential here. But this does allow Sly Crab to kind of move out on the map, pressure things a little bit more. You can start clearing this creep. Doesn't have to worry about getting units surrounded because you can just pick them up. We do have a full wall. I think this is a full wall. I think this is actually flush with these gateways here. I'm surprised that he finished it with a gateway and not putting just like a pylon or something right here. But it looks like Sly Crab does want to just go for the win here. Is trying to make his way across the map. This pylon getting biled down. I'd like to see it getting healed by the shield battery. Some units getting forced to warp in at home. Ling's trying to run around and get through here. And with that, we do see the Ling starting to get in here. Now this battery is overcharged, but if... Okay, he's not going to focus on the battery. He's just going to bile all of these units. And it looks like we're going to go into a bit of a base trade scenario here. The Protoss player has the advantage of being able to recall the army at any point. He's got a few Zealots on here. Ooh, okay, well the economy is all going down for Sly Crab, but if he can make it up into the main here and kill off these units, he should be in a good position. All of the drones getting pulled off the line here. And they are all going to die. There's one drone left here, and all Slycrab needs to do is kill this hatchery, recall his army, and he should be fine. He can recall to either Nexus. A couple zealots actually walking home. I thought we should see the recall any second here. Recall, recall. Maybe leave the warp prism. Choosing to actually just try to end the game here, realizing, okay, you don't have that much here. Okay. Minigosi has not rebuilt the base. But with this army here, well, actually, a lot of the stalkers got left. Would have been better to have those stalkers than these zealots, I think. Some biles coming down. Gonna pick off some of these units, but I think Slycrab has done it. Slycrab has grabbed himself the position here. The other player to advance. It's just a matter of time as Minigosi taps out, realizing, okay, I don't have anything at home. And that is going to wrap it up for us here today, friends. This does mean that the two folks advancing from today are going to be Wannabe Byun. And wow, this is very loud. Wannabe Byun and Slycrab. They will be going up to play against Arog Fire and Exo Striker. I believe it's going to be Wannabe Byun versus Exo Striker and Slycrab versus Arog Fire. The bracket, I'm sure, will be updated to reflect that soon. And yeah, GG's. Let's go ahead and interview our players here. I'm going to climb into Discord. I'm already in the interview channel. So we're going to see if we can get either Slycrab or Wannabe Byun in for some interviews. All right. So it looks like we're not going to get one of the players. It is bedtime. What time is it? Let's see. Slycrab is Ukrainian, I said, I think. Yeah, what time is it in Ukraine? Currently 10:30 p.m. So yeah, it's getting kind of late over there. We were waiting to see if we can get Wannabe Byun in for an interview. And it is also 10:30 over there. So I think we are going to end it there. Yeah, I don't think we're going to end up getting an interview with either of our advancing players today. It's getting kind of late on their side of the world. But we do interview channels. So we're going to see if we can get either Slycrab or Wannabe Byun in for some interviews. Let me kill the desktop audio, friends. I'm not entirely sure where that came from. Oh, I opened up. I see. Yeah, there we go. All right, we have fixed that. So now you don't get to hear the echo. Yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap up there. The final standings for this. Let me actually pull this back up. Make sure that I have it muted. Yeah, the final standings here are going to be... I guess you can hit... Yeah, there we go. We got the bracket listed right here. And I think, actually, I can do this and pull it up on the main screen of my camera. Can I do this? No, it's going to be StarCraft 2. But I can add display capture, desktop. And yeah, that's the one we want. So, it looks like from Group A, this happened on the 20th, so yesterday. Arog Fire and Exostriker advanced. Today we're going to have Wannabe Beyond advancing, as well as Sly Crab. These should be updated shortly. And yeah, they're going to go ahead and play against Arog Fire and Exostriker. Those matches are going to be happening on June 28th at 10 Pacific. Basically 7 days from now, right? Same stream, same all of that. So make sure you go on over to that Matcherino page if you have not yet done so. Let me see. Let me pull this up. All right, here we go. So if you have not yet done so, go ahead and head on over to the Matcherino. You can sign in here. Let me see. If I sign out, I can kind of show the course of things that you'd have to do. You click on that sign in button. You choose whatever method you want. I just use my BattleNet login. And click on contribute. And this coupon code, you just type that coupon code that is listed in the Twitch chat into the thing here. It's going to be AlphaXJC7, so or AX Junior Championships 7th season, and contribute. Now, I've already used this code, but you should not get this arrow. And by doing this, you will automatically put 50 cents into the prize pool. And yeah, so make sure that you do that. Definitely thank you for everybody for coming and hanging out. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will catch you all next time at the Alpha X Junior Championships.